Wow. What? I I cannot believe what they've done to my X-Men. Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, D3 Topics Gamer, and I want to kind of share my brutally and honest thoughts on the new animated series titled X-Men 97. Now, I actually held off on watching this series episode by episode. I wanted to wait till all 10 episodes were out, and I just wanted to binge them just so I could get the whole entire story or stories in one go. And as someone whose favorite team is the X-Men, someone who, as a 90s kid, I grew up with the classic X-Men animated series. In fact, that is what made me an X-Men fan and has been like the strongest reason as for why, even to this day, the X-Men team has been my favorite superhero team of all time. Way better than the Justice League, way better than the Avengers. If I could pick only one team to join, it would be the X-Men. And heck, despite some flaws in the Fox live-action X-Men films, there have been a lot of X-Men films that I've generally really loved, with movies like First Class and even Days of Futures Past still being in my top 5 favorite comic book movies of all time. Not just great comic book movies, these are some of my all-time favorites. And I'm not going to be like some of these idiots online who claim that the entire run of X-Men under Fox was a complete utter failure, because that's not true. Yeah, were there some flunkers? Absolutely. But did they make a lot of really great X-Men films? Absolutely. So now that the X-Men property is now under the control of Disney, I've been strongly stating on record that I do not support this. I don't trust X-Men in the hands of Disney now that we've seen what they've been doing with their MCU. I mean, look, the MCU is a complete and utter mess right now. So I was just afraid that they were just going to, if they ever got their hands on X-Men, they were just going to completely ruin it. So much so that I don't even trust the X-Men and Deadpool film that's coming out. I up until this point, I thought I wasn't going to watch it. But now that I have finished watching X-Men 97, I can honestly say that I'm sorry for saying this, but X-Men 97 is not okay. It's not good. It's not even great. It is some of the most incredible content of X-Men I have ever seen in my life. I'll even go so far as to say this. X-Men 97 somehow, some way, in just 10 episodes is actually better than the classic 90s animated X-Men show. I feel like I need to wash my mouth out with soap because I love the classic X-Men animated show. That's what I grew up on. And somehow, some people under Disney have managed to create some of the most incredible X-Men content we've ever seen. I mean, this is comic book levels of qualities. They did a fantastic job. We get to see these characters done better than they ever were in the classic animated show. I loved every single character. I love the use of Morph and giving him kind of like a buddy-buddy best friend connection with Wolverine. That was something that was always hinted in the original run of the animated show, but they really took that to a whole nother level. I love the dynamic between Scott and Jean. In fact, this is without question the best version of Cyclops that we have ever seen outside of the comics. Now, don't get me wrong. Cyclops has been in a number of animated shows before, and outside of, I'd say, the first live-action film, I don't really think they did a very great job with Cyclops as a character in the live-action films, because Cyclops is supposed to be the leader of the X-Men, and he never really felt like that in the live-action interpretations. But in here, it's front and front center. Cyclops is the leader. He's a badass. He uses his powers and his combative abilities in ways I'd never seen him done in any other animated show. But they show just how capable Cyclops is as a character. Storm. Storm is presented as the all-powerful Omega mutant goddess that she is. There are so many incredible storylines from the comic books that they were able to mash together and combine. The Sentinels. The Sentinels were actually threatening this time. This is the best use of Sentinel gear that I have seen since Days of Futures Past, which the live-action Days of Future Past Sentinels are scary as hell. If you took those Sentinels and put them up against the Avengers, at any point in time, they would have been massacred. Did Thanos just a whole army of those Sentinels in? There's no chance he could possibly lose. Beast was great. The dynamic what that would happen with Gambit, I don't want to spoil it, was incredible. The use of Magneto, awesome. The use of Cable, Bishop, everyone was able to shine. They even added some newer characters that weren't in the original run of the animated show that I thought did a great job. And then the final episode, episode 10, the finale, established it to a whole nother level. I mean, there's a fight that kind of starts in episode 9 between Charles Xavier and Magneto, which is something I have been aching to see in an animated form, even in a live action form, for over 20 years. Having a direct engagement, a conflict engagement between Professor Xavier and Magneto is extremely rare, even in the comic books. I think this happened a few times, most famously in the Fatal Attraction story. I believe that's what it's called. And something serious happens to Wolverine in episode 9, which is, I didn't even think they would go that far. But to see that battle between Professor Xavier and Magneto is something I thought we would see I thought I would see when I was much, much younger. But we didn't get it, and we got it now. So just these 10 episodes has completely flipped my opinion of what we could actually get with the right people driving this franchise under the Disney banner. Don't get me wrong, Disney's been doing a lot of really shady stuff and things that I don't support at all. But like, for them to put out this kind of incredible content, which is easily some of the best X-Men content in existence ever, gives me a bit of hope. So much so that, you know what, I think I will give Deadpool and Wolverine a shot when it comes out in theaters. And if they do a live action X-Men film, which they'll obviously do one eventually, all I ask is that they keep it its own separate thing and they don't tie it to the MCU. The MCU has enough characters and it has enough of a stink and mess. And if you want to do like an occasional cameo, okay, but I don't want it to have like serious connections, because there were some cameos in here in X-Men 97 that I didn't expect to see, including Spider-Man, which the animated Spider-Man show from the 90s for Fox Kids to this day is still my all-time favorite interpretation of Spider-Man ever. Just so to see him pop up a couple of times in this series made my head want to explode. And that gives me hope that, heck, perhaps if they can do that with X-Men, maybe we could see something with Spider-Man, maybe? That'd be cool. And even some other heroes that popped up that I thought was like, I would watch an updated animated show on these characters. But yes, I'm not so prideful to admit when I'm wrong and I've made a mistake. But yeah, as someone who grew up with the X-Men animated show, this was incredible. This is some of the best X-Men we've ever had. And if they can continue this momentum, then I think the future for the X-Men franchise is looking very, very bright. So yeah, if you have been on the fence or on the border of whether or not you should check out X-Men 97, please do so, because I'm so glad I had the courage to give this series a try, because it was one of the best decisions I've made this year in terms of comic book content, because X-Men 97 is truly incredible. So those are my honest thoughts on the X-Men 97 animated series. I'd like to know, what were some of your favorite things? Without spoilers, which episode was your all-time favorite out of the 10? Let me know in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.